Good morning, characters. Thank you for joining us again. Almost 20 years ago was the first time an assembly was had that brought together the local community base trying to help forward the agenda of character and athletics. That was at the Lincoln Center years ago, that first speech by Kelly McGregor. And now here we are, nearly a couple decades later. We appreciate you taking time this morning to be here. I'm Thad Anderson. It's like Sad with a lisp if you haven't met me before, Thad Anderson. I run the Fort Collins Baseball Club, spent years at Triple Crown Sports, and was on the group that helped sort of formulate the process of CHAMP that was brought together by the city of Fort Collins, Poudre School District, and also by CSU, three entities that had asked for some kind of an initiative, some kind of a task force to launch something toward the interest of character in athletics. I find it important to comment on for, I think, all the people who've been involved in CHAMP in some kind of leadership role or administrative role or whatever it might be. I know there are times when people might be off-put by the concept of something like this. And I think in some cases the feeling might be that there are people who believe they invented character. And that's not at all what this is about. The idea is to acknowledge, recognize, amplify, celebrate, knowing that we all have failings, we all have shortcomings, we all come up short on these kinds of things at times. And I think this entire room has probably been through processes both on the positive side of that and on the negative side of that. I think on behalf of everyone who's touched the CHAMP process at a deeper level to help administer this thing over the years, I think an important point would be simply that we all sort of do this as a group that helps build a greater outcome. None of us have perfected that at all. A few thank yous off the top I want to get to, and of course, most importantly, if you go from the program, me first, thank me. After that, we'll go to our keynote speaker today is Dallas Davis. Great to have Dallas back with us. Not in the facility where he did so many great things for the Rams, but the older brother facility. And just fantastic to have such a charismatic, good-looking. What else you want? Is that? Keep going, huh? Yeah. I mean, look at that. So I don't know where this photo came from, but just look. What is that? You got that guy. You got that guy. So we'll have that guy be the keynote speaker and this guy do like dog and pony stuff. Don't know where that shirt came from. Won't be worn again, I promise you. Dallas, thank you for coming this morning. Look forward to hearing from you a little later on. Tim Peterson is actually flipping my picture up there. Thanks a lot, Tim. Tim is our event producer. Thanks to Tim for his work with the CHAMP Breakfast for a number of years. Olivia Damji made a mistake and was right up here where she can be seen, handling photography for us. Olivia, thank you. Jennifer Silos handles the publications, the printing, the signage, all those good things. Jennifer, thank you. From the board of directors perspective, some people to acknowledge today who are either current or past board members for CHAMP. Tom Lopez, if you're here, would you please stand up? And we'll just at the end, we'll let them all hear from you. Tom Lopez, Stephanie Clavitter, Jamie May, Craig Modelmog, Dave Dixon, Angela Knopf-Castle, Tom Livingston, Ken Schrader, Jason Burkett. Please stand, and thank you all for the great work you've done over the years. I do want to rewind for just a second, and she is standing at the back by the glass. Stephanie Clavitter puts in a tremendous amount of time, has for a number of years on this particular function. So Stephanie is at the back. You know her, you love her. She's number one in your hearts, number one in the world. Stephanie Clavitter, thank you. And I believe, just off to the side, standing next to the esteemed Mike, is Corinne LaPlante. And Corinne has also done an equal or greater amount of work. So Corinne, thank you for all the work you've done to keep CHAMP moving in our community. The sponsors and ongoing in all of these cases, we want to thank our sponsors, founding partners, City of Fort Collins, Poudre School District, Colorado State University, and the Healthier Communities Coalition. Our MVP sponsors, Triple Crown Sports, Gallegos Foundation. VIP sponsors, RBC Wealth Management, Flood and Peterson. Promotional sponsors are Canvas Credit Union, Phillips Financial, and Livingston Real Estate and Development, LLC sponsors. Thank you for your work on behalf of this organization. Give it up for the sponsors, please. In November, one of our past recipients of the Sonny Lubick Coach of Character Award, Lyle Modelmog, passed away. He won the award. It was given this award in 2010. back in the history of time with Champ. And we just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge Lyle, not only his contributions to Champ, both as an award winner and then ongoing beyond that, really furthering the agenda of the character mission in athletics, but just impacting the community in so many ways. I was actually back reading some of the comments on Lyle's obituary just a couple days ago, and impressive to read from those who were touched by Lyle Modelmog. If you're not a Collins person, I think you can be for a moment. Fort Collins High and Lyle's impact there. Very awesome from Lyle that in the obituary, what was asked was if you wanted to make contributions in memory of Lyle, you could either give to Champ or the prison fellowship mission. So one or the other. Got both choices, and he spent some time in ministry after his retirement in the prison ministries and also heavily with Champ. So a moment to celebrate and appreciate Lyle Modelmog and thank him again for all the great service he provided to our community. As you've seen on your table, there is the digital program as part of the digital package, the QR package. There's also the donation tent on your table. This breakfast was founded nearly 20 years ago in the spirit of raising funds to help the mission throughout the year of celebrating character and furthering the implementation of character in our young athletes in particular, but really all athletics across the board. So if you're able to use that QR code, there are other ways to give at your table. You can contact Champ, but that QR code is an easy way to do it. We'll remind you a couple times during the course of the day. If that's not something you're able to do today, that is not an expectation. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the conversation, enjoy the people we'll have up front today, and if you are able to support the Champ mission, that of course is also greatly appreciated. Thank you for being here this morning. Before we jump into recognizing some of this year's recipients, I do want to carry on mainly because it makes me just super happy. So if we can all just indulge me, please. Let's do the text a coach, revere a coach moment. And what that is this is the only time during where you're really encouraged to get your phone out. But hold on, don't send it. I'm going to count to 3 in a second here. I'll give you a minute to compose. And then I'd like to hit send, for everybody to hit send at the same time, so this big whoosh of positivity goes right out of this room, out across the country, maybe the world. So what the ask is get your phone out and text, email, whatever you have to do. I don't know what contact info you have for this person. But a coach, a mentor, a teacher, somebody in a leadership role for you in your life who had a positive impact on you, who you'd like to say thank you to. So we try to use this moment in this morning to at least, if nothing else, commend those who have set a bar and maybe have helped guide you in how you approach that part of your coaching or teaching or leading or parenting. So if you got your phone out, just compose a brief thank you, a brief commendation to someone you'd like to have a feel good this morning as an extension of our breakfast. And then if we can, just for the fun of it, I'll count you to it. If we can all hit send at the same time, it's just kind of cool. And then we do a thing here where whoever's phone pings the most times receiving character texts, they win. No, they don't win anything. It's just the goodness of your heart and your soul is filled. So finish your compositions, and I'll count down. Find your send button, and we'll send this text a coach, honor a coach in 3, 2, 1, send. And thank you for being part of that. If you didn't send, that's okay. Somebody might have sent you one. Those of you who did, appreciate that. Thank you for taking a moment to appreciate those who've done great things in all of our lives. We have a variety of recognitions today, and the first one we move into is the Outstanding Character Athlete Award. That is presented to local youth athletes for exemplifying outstanding character both on and off the field. We have a number of those outstanding character athletes with us this morning in the audience, and I'm going to read through. We're going to put the names up, but we would ask you, if you're one of those recipients, can you please stand and remain standing as we read the names of our outstanding character athletes? Please stand now. Go ahead and stand if you're one of those. I know you're here, and you might be reluctant because there's a bunch of old people looking at you. Outstanding character athletes this year from Fort Collins High, Annika Van Dalen, Ivy Hollybar. From Fossil Ridge High School, Austin Berry, Carter Brazelton, Gracie Coleman, Diana Hunt, Marcus Moser, Andrew Paddock, Emily Stalkup, Tyler Van Tassel, Malachi Egbuji, Delaney McClure from Pooter High School, Maylee Miller. Rocky Mountain High, it's Tyson Balla, Haley Hall, Avante Hood, Avery McKenzie, Jamie Sawyer. From Timnath High, Caroline Barkowski, Paige Barlow, Peter Blazes, Ezra Bone, Lily Carlson, Anna Davies, Aubriana Gertis, Lawson Hill, Vince Hockhalter, Kyle Nelson, Kate Radke, Jack Rumbley, Izzy Schimmelfennig, Olivia Stansberry, Reese Yoke, Evan Vasa, Kylie Scheit from Kennard Middle School, Wilson Hillier, Lily White, Jillian Wind from Lesher Middle School, Cash Helgerson, Thomas Mack, Lily Pope, Izzy Stone, Leela Wind from Preston Middle School, Charlie Brooks and Ella Kydell, and from Timnath Middle School, Addie Eldridge, Afton Hockhalter, Brody Holdridge, Whitney Palmer, Hudson Schimmelfennig, and Callum Weatherhog. Again, our outstanding character athletes for this sequence of recognitions. Thank you for everything you've done to help positively impact the experiences, not only your peers, but our entire community. Congratulations. Coach of Character Award is presented to local coaches for exemplifying outstanding character on and off the field. The Outstanding Coaches of Character Awards for this year. And again, if you would please stand, those of you coaches, if you are in the midst with us. Tara Arco from Timnath High and Adrian Flicht from Rocky Mountain High School. Josh Swan from Lesher Middle School and Stephanie Pittner from Preston Middle School. Outstanding coaches of character. Thank you for being here this morning. And we do need you to come forward. That's my mistake. We do bring you to the front. Can't bring all the students up. It would collapse the weight-bearing limit. But we do want to see you all up front.
You're the only one that can make it this morning.
Sure, thank you.
Adrian Flick from Rocky Mountain High, thank you for your work and your efforts on behalf of our student athletes. Enforcements. Stephanie Pittner and Tara Arco, congratulations. And again, thank you for your contributions. Coach of Character Awards each year, along with those Outstanding Character Athlete Awards, take us to the Heart of a Champion Senior Scholarship Awards. From Rocky Mountain High School, a man of character who always does the right thing, it has been said of Avante, leads the Lobos by example, gives back to his community through events, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, participating in CSU's Black African American Cultural Center. One of our 3 Heart of a Champion Senior Scholarship Award winners this year from Rocky Mountain High School, boys basketball player Avante Hood. Congratulations, Avante. From Fort Collins High School, girls volleyball, the sport, complete package was said of Ivy. Team player, servant leader, finds great joy in the processes of learning and growing and practicing, and it serves her well as a youth volleyball coach. Ivy will attend Oregon State University in the fall. Congratulations to our Heart of a Champion Senior Scholarship Award winner, Ivy Hollybar. Congratulations. And from Timnath High School, girls volleyball is the sport. embodiment of resilience, character, leadership, and kindness, models dedication and integrity in everything she does, and will matriculate at the University of Nebraska. Congratulations, Heart of a Champion Senior Scholarship Award winner, Kate Radke. Kate, congratulations. Is that awkward to have all nice things said about you when you're standing here? Maybe one of the toughest things, I think, is they're standing here having to have nice things said about them and look humble, which they are. Congratulations again, all three of our scholarship award winners. Great, well done.
You can do it. You got this. Don't hang your head down. Pick yourself back up and try again. I was coached by my dad, and I'll never forget the moment I thought I was done pitching. And he said, no, you've got more in you. And he kept me out there in the game, challenged me beyond what I thought I could do. I did close that game out. We did win that game.
When I think of Dave King, I think of serial entrepreneur, I think of innovator, I think of tough love, and I think of somebody that believes in people. Probably more than anyone else I know.
I've been able to do things that I never thought was possible, and it's really because of this push-pull that he has. He really supports you and encourages you, but behind the scenes, he's definitely challenging you to be the best person you can be.
The Dave King Challenger Award is truly about those coaches that show, challenge, and express themselves in a way to the athlete that infuses them with more self-esteem than they ever thought they could have.
The Dave King Challenger Award honors a female coach or administrator who challenges their players or associates to reach beyond their perceived limits, infusing self-esteem and character to tackle life's next big obstacle. We have a few of our past award recipients with us today. If you'd please stand so we can recognize you, past recipients of the Dave King Challenger Award. Please stand now. Congratulations and thank you.
Dee Dee is a person who is genuinely interested in and respectful of people. And along with that comes her ability to challenge people by using those two qualities.
She approached the coaching job at Northern Colorado with the same values she had as an assistant, which was a deep love for the players, whether they started, whether they didn't play at all. And she was able to take that culture, which is very unusual to take a culture in sports and literally make it the cornerstone of why they were good. And she got the best out of her players using that methodology, which you just don't see much in this world anymore. That culture becomes the dominant theme of her program. And that was always who she was. She was always that person that had the smile for you, the hug that didn't leave you. Just a deep-hearted person.
Dee Dee develops character just simply by being herself. She is one of the most fair and kind people that I've ever met, but she loves softball and she loves watching players compete, and I just think she has her own special gift. She's so respected in the softball community by other coaches, but she just does it with care and clear and concise information, and she just believes in people.
Coach Dee Dee is so deserving of this award because of how she coaches on the field, but more importantly, how she coaches off the field. She truly cares about our student athletes. And I really believe that's most important to be successful in sports. We're so fortunate to have such a great leader in our softball program because of what she does off the field and how she supports our student athletes with academics, socially, and certainly on the field athletically.
Dee Dee is a person who coaches and runs a program by using values, and values. And so within that, her ability to know who she is, what she stands for, how she's described the program to all that get involved with it, is what actually causes her to just lead naturally that way and create this culture whereby people buy in and they don't even necessarily know that she is challenging them. It's just a natural progression type of thing, and before you know it, they're winning ball games.
Following a leader is really hard if you don't know who you're getting. And you know who you're getting every day. And her example is one of a good culture, of a good heart, a belief in people. And she never changes. She's consistently the very nice person that you see who can still whip you on the field.
I think Dee Dee has done so much for the community and the softball world, and this is a great award for her to receive because she just has such high character and represents everything that Champ really stands for.
Congratulations to Dee Dee Ann Pendleton-Helm. Dee Dee. It's on, okay.
Okay. Good morning. First, I want to just congratulate the other award winners. If many of you know me, the ones that know me, I kind of joke that I waited to be a head coach for 25 years so I didn't have to public speak, right? So you'll see me a little shaky, nervous, but here we go. Whew. I am truly overwhelmed and grateful to be honored for the Dave King Challenger Award. Dave King has actually known me since the beginning of my coaching career back in the mid-90s. You know, back in the mid-90s, you got paid $0 to be an assistant coach, and so he hired me at Triple Crown and allowed me to be a coach. But as many of you know, we don't really get into coaching for the money. God, I'm nervous. Wow. Softball and sports saved my life. It gave me purpose. It kept me out of trouble for the most part. It gave me an opportunity to get a college degree. And quite frankly, I was a handful when I went to college. I pushed the boundaries, I pushed the rules, and there was even some rules made because of me. And honestly, I could have easily been dismissed or kicked off the team. But my coaches were patient and forgiving. They gave me grace to learn, to grow, to mature. And this really has been the foundation of my philosophy as a coach today. My coaching mission statement is to ignite passion and greatness within each athlete to reach their highest potential in sport and in life. To lead with unconditional love, support, patience, respect, and balance by really staying present. Our program mission at UNC is to be where our feet are with love and care. As a coach, we can easily get caught up in the X's and O's, the wins and losses, but reality is the real wins are when we There we go. When we see our athletes succeed in the classroom, graduate, have successful careers, have mature conversations with their peers, stand up for themselves, have healthy relationships with their partners, stand up for others and fight for their values, go through hard things in life and come out on top, have confidence in everything they do and respect themselves. Quite honestly, it's 100% about relationships. The relationships between player and coach, the relationships they make together. The win is teaching 25 athletes from 25 different backgrounds to respect each other's differences, to really see each other, to learn to love and trust each other. As a coach, I want to see my athletes be great at life, know their value, handle the ups and downs, and help them find their purpose in this world. Most of all, I want them to learn to truly love themselves. Because when we love ourselves, we can love others, and when we love others, we can truly make the world a better place. Love has a ripple effect on the world. I want to quick thank Champs for this amazing event and what you do for so many athletes in Colorado, to Triple Crown and Dave King for supporting me and keeping me in coaching, to the coaches I've been under who have taught me so many lessons, to my unbelievable team and all the athletes I've coached who teach me something every single day, to my amazing staff for your endless hours of hard work, but you make every day full of laughs, adventure, and love. I love you guys. To my family and friends, because without your support and love, I couldn't do this job. Most importantly, I must thank my wife, Heather. You are my rock, my sounding board, my best friend, and most patient partner I have ever known in the world. I would not be here without you. Thank you. So I'll leave you with this. From the moment each of you woke up, you have been throwing stones and leaving ripples that matter to others, to yourself, and even to the world. What each of you do today is going to matter. What will be your ripple effect? Thank you.
Our thanks to Dave King and Triple Crown Sports and CEO Carrie King for sponsoring the Dave King Challenger Award. And thank you for your impact, DDN Pendleton Health.
Kelly McGregor was a man of character, courage, and integrity who spent his life investing in people and encouraging those who had the privilege to meet him. As a former All-American football player at Colorado State University, he became a friend to CSU, Fort Collins, and Champ.
Things of quality are built slowly. Character is built slowly. Character is encouraged slowly. Quality organizations are built slowly. Good communities are built slowly, one layer at a time. The one thing I can tell you about leadership and character is you'll never outlead your character. If you want to be a great leader, you need to grow your character. You need to understand that character is something that you wake up with and you go to bed with. It's who you are. And it's something you need to demonstrate consistently. And if you want people to follow you, so one thing I can tell you is they will find a flaw if it's there. But they'll give you your heart if you lead with your character. And they'll give you your heart if they see that character 24 hours a day. If they're having a meeting like this 20 years from now, you will have left a legacy that made an enormous difference in the city of Fort Collins. And for you leaders that stepped up, you will have met your goal. 20 years from now is the goal of today. 30 years from now is the goal of today. It's not tomorrow. It's not how much money we raise today. It's the legacy that all of you leave in this great community 20 or 30 years from now.
Kelly was a courageous leader and a legacy builder. The Kelly McGregor Award is an award for service, for servant leadership. It was created in Kelly's memory to recognize an administrator or director who makes a difference in their organization through courageous leadership and a commitment to character that benefits the Fort Collins community. Kelly McGregor made a significant impact on character in Fort Collins and the state of Colorado. We are proud to present this award annually to honor Kelly's legacy.
Here today, who you just heard from, I remember the early processes of the meetings and preparing for this. And I think we all felt the impetus that Kelly put behind, and really the wind that Kelly put in the sails of the Champ enterprise, the Champ organization, through the words he spoke at the Lincoln Center in that speech in the first breakfast. And so, of course, our thanks to Kelly and to Lori, his wife, the McGregors. Sponsored by Flood and Peterson, the Kelly McGregor Award honors local leaders who benefit their organization as well as the Fort Collins community through their character and courageous leadership. We have past winners of the Kelly McGregor Servant Leadership Award in attendance with us today. If you would please stand now. If you've received this award in the past, please stand now. Thank you all.
Well, I think that he deserves a Servant Leadership Award because of his investment in the community. I have known Kelly a long time. I've known him since he showed up in Fort Collins. And the thing that I always appreciated was his ability to separate what he did for a living with his investment in the community and his heart for servant leadership, no matter what that looked like in terms of helping out with youth sports or whatever he did. You could see his passion for this community.
He's always the first one to help raise his hand to volunteer to do something or help someone. You know, at the newsroom, we'll get a lot of emails or messages from, you know, whether it's a college student, high school student, someone that wants to job shout or, you know, send in some questions about the industry. He'll always raise his hand for that. New employee, he'll volunteer to help them and show them the ropes. In every way, kind of behind the scenes, things that people, you know, in the community may not see, Kelly's helping volunteer to do. And then there are all the things people do see, all the stories Kelly has written. No matter what it is, Kelly is always eager to put his foot forward, and whether it's a topic he knows well or needs to learn about, he'll throw everything into it and do everything he can to help educate the community on whatever important topic it is, and he's written about almost all of them in our newsroom.
I think that the Servant Leader Award should go to someone who works extremely hard in a profession that gives a lot and doesn't get much back. And that's what I think the newspaper industry has been, unfortunately, but Kelly has devoted his life to it. And so he's written about things in this community forever, whether it's sports and now on the education side, but he's really brought news to this community. He's helped promote not only prep, but college sports. And he's done it in a way where you can tell he's serving this community and trying to help people understand what's going on here.
I think the biggest reflection of character development is when you look at his family. When you look at Lynn and the two boys, you see the investment he made in character development. I think that's the greatest reflection, is who he is as a husband and a father, and what he does in our community.
We work in industry that people have opinions on what you say, do, and write, whether they think you should have done something, shouldn't have done something, whatever it may be. And Kelly, I learned a lot from him, getting to watch him handle those, of hear out people, explain, you know, his thought process on why something did or didn't happen, and make it a conversation rather than a yelling match, which I think is something that's really valuable in the community, no matter what the job is. And I think that's a really important lesson you can have different, you know, viewpoints, but, you know, talk through, you know, where everyone's coming from. And usually those conversations I've seen end with, even if it's in a agree to disagree, you know, a handshake and, you know, thank you for your time. I think that's been really important for, you know, to witness and to have in our community, and for myself to learn from Kelly.
I admire Kelly because he's stuck to it, and he's been the voice of Fort Collins in a lot of different areas for a long time. When most people in the printed news business have bailed, he's stayed put and done the right things to be good at his job.
I am really excited for him to receive this award. He's deserving. He is humble to a fault, and he is always willing to help. I think that's one of the things that I appreciate. He's always willing to help, and he cares for others tremendously.
You've read his written word extensively. Now you get to hear his spoken word. Congratulations, Kelly Lyle. Thank you for your good work.
It is on, right? Okay. First of all, it's not that often that somebody named Kelly, a male named Kelly, gets to win an award named after another male named Kelly. So for that alone, and I'm grateful, and I met Kelly McGregor, and at one of these breakfasts, I sat with him many years ago. Tremendous man, so I'm really honored to receive an award in his name. Although I've made my living with words, I can't find the right ones now to best describe how honored and humbled I am to be receiving the 2025 Kelly McGregor Servant Leadership Award from CHAMP. Previous winners, many of you are in this room, are some of the most inspiring people I've met in my 30 years in Fort Collins. As I look around this room, I see so many wonderful people, athletes, parents, teachers, coaches, administrators, business leaders, who've made our community special through their efforts. I've been privileged to share your personal stories and the stories of those you've inspired with this community, and I'm honored that you've trusted me to do it for so many years. They're your stories. I'm just the journalist who's been given the privilege of sharing them. I appreciate your willingness to overlook the 3 strikes against me, a California native who grew up in Boulder, graduated from the University of Colorado, to allow me to still be here and share those stories. I married up, by the way. My wife is a CSU graduate, as is my oldest son. So in addition to thanking my wonderful family, my wife Lynn, my sons Clay and Patrick and their wives, Gingera and Linda, for their tremendous love and support, I want to thank each and every one of you.
The Sonny Lubick Coach of Character Award, established in 2008 in the greater Fort Collins area, celebrates the legacy of Sonny Lubick, a legendary coach at Colorado State University known for his integrity and commitment to character development. This prestigious annual award honors youth coaches who, with a minimum of 10 years experience, have significantly contributed to the personal and athletic growth of their athletes beyond the field of play. Emphasizing values like sportsmanship, respect, and the importance of doing right when no one's watching, the award encapsulates the essence of what it means to be a transformative coach. Recipients of this honor are recognized not just for their achievements in sports, but for fostering environments where young athletes learn vital life lessons, inspired to excel and treat others with kindness and respect. The Sonny Lubick Award is not merely a trophy, but a reflection of the profound impact a coach can have on shaping the character of young individuals.
Our thanks to Sonny Lubick and the Gallegos Foundation for their tremendous support of CHAMP. Sonny set a great course for this organization as well, as did the Gallegos Foundation. I want to remind you again that this is a fundraiser breakfast, and so we do have the QR code on your table. I will be auctioning this shirt off, all for the benefit of CHAMP when this breakfast is over. It's now game worn, authentic. I would sign it. That would probably reduce the value, but it will be up for auction. Sonny Lubick, obviously the impact Sonny has had, we've seen in various and varied and extensive ways in the community. Thanks also again to Gallegos Foundation. The Sonny Lubick Coach of Character Award honors coaches who have demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the character development of their student athletes. We have past recipients of the Sonny Lubick Coach of Character Award with us today. And again, we would ask you at this time, right now, please, to stand so we can recognize our past winners.
Character is all the things that, I think the way the saying goes, it's what you do when nobody's looking. I always like to add, it's also what you do when everybody is looking. I think it's who you are, it's the values you live with, and it's how you treat other people. It's purpose-driven, being purpose-driven, and values-led. And I think Mark is a perfect person for this recognition, just because in the almost 30 years that we've been together, he's that every day.
You always knew that, when he talked to you, it came from a place of love. Some of his, interactions and conversations maybe didn't come across in the moment as being positive, but you always knew at the end of the day he had staff members' best interest in mind, he had his players' best interest in mind, and everything he did came from a place of love.
I think one of the unique things about Mark is the amount of success he's had as an athlete and as a coach, but he's maybe the most humble man I know. And so you would have no idea the success he has behind him when you interact with him, because he's going to interact with you in the same way he interacted with his players or with his students, and treat you with respect and demonstrate that character that we get to see every day. And you'd have no idea the magnitude that this person has had on so many athletes, so many coaches throughout the years, that we are a better school and a better community because of Mark Brook.
Probably one of the most influential people I have known in my time at Rocky Mountain High School. His kindness, his compassion for others. Wins and losses always take care of themselves, but building young men, boys into young men, is definitely a different scenario. Mark Brook's an expert at that.
Football ends for everybody, and it doesn't matter if you go on and play at the next level or get fortunate enough to play at the highest level. When it ends, the perspective that Mark always had was that this was about building young men for something much more than football. That was a fail if all we had done was teach kids football skills. Mark always had a very clear understanding of why we were spending so much time together and with these kids. And academics is a huge part of that. It is their future, more so than throwing a football. And so Mark's commitment to not just the weight room and off-season practices, but to prioritizing their academics. I can't imagine there are too many programs that set the kind of standard that he set.
I want people to know that he's very much about family. Not just his immediate family, but his family at work with his colleagues, the family and the relationships that he's built with his players. And that's something that we talk a lot about here at Rocky Mountain High School, but it's something that he lives, and he truly is a genuine person. When he asks you how you're doing, it's not just a conversation starter with him. It's something that he truly cares about. It's something that he invests in, and he wants to know how you're doing. It's not just a facade or a show. That's who he is. And I think that people that may not know him very well may kind of get that wrong about him sometimes. He's a pretty imposing figure from a physical standpoint, but once you get to know him, that's truly who he is.
He will be teaching mathematics in a classroom at Rocky Mountain High School in a few minutes, but first we get to hear from the recipient of the Coach of Character Award, Sonny Lubick Award, Mark Brook. Congratulations.
Well, not easy to talk after I hear so many amazing people talk about me, so thank you guys for the kind words. I want to start by just thanking Champ. I was at the first breakfast back when Kelly spoke back in years ago, and Champ has had a massive impact on a lot of athletes and families in the city of Fort Collins. So Champ, thank you so much for what you do, and my kids being a part of the PSD district and part of the athletics, thank you so much, Champ. I appreciate it. I started this journey back in 1998. That was when I first started coaching, and for a lot of you guys, it may seem like a really long time. But for myself, it literally seems like it was yesterday. I think it's, people always say, when you are able to do what you love, time goes super fast, and it's been very quick for me. As I look back on my coaching career, I've had so many amazing athletes that I've been a part of their lives, and that have taught me great life lessons, and their families have taught me lessons, and maybe kind of who I am and helped me be the parent that I am. So to all the families and kids that I've been a part of, thank you for what you've given me. I can't even count how many coaches I've coached with, so I'm not going to even try to mention names. but to all my coaches that have helped build what I think, and I'm pretty proud of, at Rocky Mountain High School. I think we have a true family in our football program, and all the coaches have been a part of that, and there's a lot of you. Thank you so much for doing what you've done and building the community at Rocky that's important to me. And lastly, you know, I'm going to make this quick, and I try not to get emotional here. To my family. I love them so much, and as you guys see the pictures of them, they mean the world to me. So thank you guys for being who you are, and thank you, Champ. I appreciate it.
Current top bid is $12. We'll just leave that there for you to all admire. From one Fort Collins native who we just heard from to another Fort Collins native who we now get the honor to hear from. And it's another great story of local kid comes back home to share some stuff about life that a lot of you impacted. I know in some conversations with Stephanie and Corinne leading up to this morning, Al Manata was a name that came up as part of the impact for this young Fort Collins Indian. As many know, was the director of the Fort Collins Soccer Club for a number of years, and a long list of people who had an impact on the life of Dallas Davis. Fort Collins native, another Fort Collins High School representative. In his 21st season with the Colorado Rockies, serves as Director of Human Resources and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, leading initiatives in recruiting, learning and development, and DEI strategy. As I said, a Fort Collins High grad. I know those of you who are from there want to hear that 3 or 4 times, 5 times if we can. We're all proud to say a Colorado State University captain and graduate. I was the on-field public address announcer at Hughes Stadium in the days when Dallas roamed wild on the football field here in Fort Collins. All very proud of the contributions, but I know Dallas talks a lot about the things that really are most memorable and matter most to him in the course of that time. And we've gotten to see that come to fruition through a lifetime spent in a fairly public position with the Colorado Rockies. His experiences in athletics have shaped his values and reinforced his belief in sports as a force for positive change. Our keynote address at this year's Champ Breakfast, please join us up front if you would. Dallas Davis. Thank you, Dallas.
Okay, there we go. Okay, hey, that $12 bid is mine, so I appreciate everybody just leaving that alone. Yeah? Okay. Well, good morning, and you know, I knew when I was asked to do this that I would be connected to probably every table here. You know, watching the awards, the people that have been recognized, some of the awards that people are named after, I have really tight connections with. And so this is really just an honor for me to just stand here and reflect a little bit, but also say thank you. Because, you know, so many of you, whether I played with you, against you, coached by you, whether I see you at a current softball field now, there's just so much connection here. And my time in Fort Collins, I was always an athlete, and as athletes, sometimes we can definitely get bogged down and just think about ourselves a little too much. And in doing so, I think I missed a whole lot of people that were supporting me, you know, whether it was a parent, you know, teachers, coaches, administrators, trainers, you name it. So I just wanted to kind of selfishly just take a second and thank you all. So I'm come with just so much gratitude and really humbled to be here. As we get started, you know, I'm a Christ follower. I'm a husband. I am a father, a girl dad of 3 very talented student athletes, and someone who's coached plenty of youth sports. Now, I did stop coaching at the high school level because I'm not here to deal with parents like some of y'all, so my respect goes to you. But with all of those stories that you've heard and the experiences I've had, you know, I definitely have a library of experiences I could share with you all today. However, Thad told me they do have the Grammy music queued up to get me off the stage if I go a little too long. So I can't get into all of them, but what I want to do is really just start with some experiences that have happened really close to where we're standing. You know, I could spend a day just talking about things that have happened within a mile radius of where we're standing. But a lot of these experiences are what contributed to what I would say are my character profile. For those of you in HR, you might be used to what we would call a candidate profile. We have a position that we post, but we look at the qualifications, we look at the experiences that are needed, and we create an ideal profile of what that candidate should be that can add the most to our team, our organization. And in the same way, I view character as, you know, a profile that we're constantly creating. Now, I will share some of those experiences, but I will warn you, not all of it's positive. And at the same time, just like you know, driving from Denver to Fort Collins on I-25, my character profile is still under construction. Will probably always be under construction, as I-25 will probably always be under construction. But, you know, I think of some of the things that I've experienced close to here. And again, not all of them positive. I remember having a gun held to my head by a police officer across the street when I was 15 at an arcade. I remember being pulled over as a passenger in a car by Corbett Hall and constantly asked which gang I belonged to. At the same time, I met my wife right over here at the Student Center. And believe it or not, I starred in a show at the CSU Theater as Michael Jackson. I was an 8-year-old as part of the Black Student Services Motown Review. And big shout out to the work that Black Student Services has done, currently Black African American Cultural Center. The programming that was provided just as a kid growing up in Fort Collins, you know, really impacted me. I used to walk my mom to class. She went back to school and graduated right before me. I used to walk her to class, probably a quarter mile from here. So like I said, I could keep going. I could talk about Fort Collins High School right across the street. I believe it's currently a CSU building. Some of my first football experiences started there. But then I also reflect, you know, Moby Arena and just walking around, experience in CSU athletics, and then eventually the teammates and coaches I got to play with and be around, which is now currently the women's soccer field. That's where all of our work really got put in, and was fortunate to be part of some of the best teams in Colorado State history. But just to back up a little bit, you know, I was a mixed kid with curly hair growing up here in Fort Collins. Went to elementary school, junior high school, and college. And you know what? If they had a professional team, I probably would have tried out for them too. But I've been able to navigate many different spaces. And a lot of those spaces, at times, you know, I was told that my differences weren't unique, they weren't good, and at times it was very painful. But I also had so much support, and that support really outshined a lot of those painful moments. People who modeled character and poured into me that made a lasting impact on my life. Elementary school was tough. People like the late Mr. Hilliard, Manuel Cordova, a random substitute teacher who I couldn't even tell you her name, but for whatever reason, she might have been in my class a day, a week, I can't really remember, but the impact she had on my life, because she showed me that I did matter. She listened to me and understood the things that I was going through. I think of an 8th grader. Again, can't remember his name, can't remember his face, but in 6th grade, terrified me to go to middle school. This kid said something, and not anything super amazing, but just be prepared and manage your time well, and middle school will be great. How that impacted me. And then when I got to middle school, people like Dr. Carbajal and Mr. Walls created inclusive programming that really accepted me for who I was, empowered me, encouraged me to lead, and helped me thrive. And that's where I think of these moments, and this is going to be kind of a theme that I'm going to talk about, and it's really leaning into the boring stuff, especially when we're dealing with character. And we heard briefly a story about a former soccer coach of mine, Al Manata. And when I was playing with the Fort Collins Arsenal, I remember one of my first character lessons I learned on the field. It was 12 years old. I think we were playing in North Glen, and a kid took the ball from me, like he should have. But I didn't appreciate that, and I became very emotional, and I chased this kid down, and I took him out. And it wasn't a huge deal, but Al saw why I did that. Not the fact that it happened, it happens all the time, but he saw why. He saw the emotion that I had and what happened because of that emotion. And right there, he took me out of the game. He sat me down. He gave me my 5-10 minutes. And then he went over there and just laid into me about, managing your emotions. And that day, a 12-year-old learned a character lesson about not making emotional decisions, when the stakes are high. And that's a message that has lasted for me that I'll never forget, and I'm sure Al probably doesn't even remember. And I think that speaks to someone who brought up legacy, and the coaches, the teachers, all of you out there, the legacy that you're leaving. You're not necessarily going to hear the thank you, and you might not even remember those lessons that you gave, but I can tell you, you're impacting lives every day when you're in the classroom, when you're on the field. I had strong role models at home. My mom, my grandparents, I had extended family. But parents, let's be real. We know that we can do and say all the right things, but until your kids hear it from somebody else, or you have to go pay another coach to show them how to do what you already know how to do, or maybe they hear it on TikTok or YouTube somewhere, then it starts to click. And then the same way, we all kind of collectively, manage these character moments. But again, I think of a lot of these moments just being pretty boring. Things that wouldn't necessarily make a highlight video. And I'm reminded of a time when I first started working in baseball. I was in spring training, and before one of our spring training workouts, it was time to watch the highlight video before that day's workouts. And when you hear highlight video, I reflect on the days where we would stay in, now the Hilton, it was called the Holiday Inn, I think, before our game days. And our video crew would put together this highlight video. Heads smashing, touchdowns, everything. And then we get on the bus fired up and we go out to Hughes ready to whoop some butt. And this highlight video starts. And it was the most boring highlight video I've ever seen. It was highlights of people laying bunts down, sacrifice bunts, moving runners to second base, sacrifice flies that scored one run, and that same outcome as a solo home run. But it really stood out because when we think about successful teams and how to win games and so forth, it's those moments. It's those boring moments that create that type of success. For those of you who've known me through high school, college, I used to be an animal guy. And I had reptiles, wanted to own a zoo, be the black Steve Irwin jumping through the jungle, that kind of thing. Over time, I interned at the Denver Zoo, and I quickly learned that when you feed animals, what goes in must come out. And when that happens, somebody's got to clean it up. And I quickly learned I didn't want to be that guy, and career path changed and became more of a hobby. But over time, you become a father, you have kids, those hobbies kind of fall off. But I have picked up a couple other hobbies I'll share with you today. One of them, house plants. I get really excited when I see a new leaf pop out. One of my plants, some of my plant people here could probably relate to that. Those are always good days. Another thing is whole leaf tea. I'm a tea connoisseur. And by connoisseur, I am a snob. If you are doing tea wrong, I'm going to let you know about it. You see, tea, when we talk about real tea, it comes from the same plant. And that plant, that's where you get black tea from, green tea, white tea, oolong tea. See, y'all are going to learn something today. And it might be about tea. But the point is, there's big differences when you're actually drinking that tea, because the way that tea is processed, oxidized, to get the full flavor, the full health benefit, you have to treat that tea different as it comes. You can't treat those tea leaves the same, even though they're coming from the same plant. If you're boiling your green tea, I'm going to slap it out of your hand. And I'm not talking, tea bags. I'm talking whole leaf tea. I need the real stuff. But you have to brew tea at different temperatures and different times to maximize its potential. And I think Coach here hinted on the ability, as you're taking in students, as you're taking in athletes, they're all coming from different experiences. And they all have something to add. And yes, there's the same mission, but we can't necessarily approach all of those experiences in the same way. Just like if we were trying to brew tea and get the max fulfillment, max potential that the tea can offer. I can only imagine what you educators and coaches are inheriting when a student, when a player walks into your space. And I just encourage you to continue to lean into those spaces. There's a book called Crucial Conversations, and the authors explain it like this. People who are skilled at dialogue do their best to make it safe for everyone to add their meaning to the shared pool. And that, to me, speaks to what I would call psychological safety. And it's those kind of moments that helped me, that as I've talked to athletes, that they're looking for from their coaches, from their teachers, is creating those environments where failure can happen. They can bring them their selves to the space that you're in and be part of something, be part of the team. So to wrap this up, what does all of this mean? To me, it means that character development, it's not necessarily about one big moment. It's about the constant, countless small ones, the boring ones, the moments that often go unseen, uncelebrated. And in a world that's constantly evolving, whether it's technology, we're talking AI now, we're talking social media, polarization, transfer portals, our character is something that still needs to be discovered. Even though there are some universal truths, what does character look like on your social media channels? What does it look like, again, as we're dealing with the transfer portal, when we might not have that much time with an athlete to really work on development? How much more important do the youth coach roles play in that space? So here's my challenge. Keep modeling the character that we talk about. Keep building environments where others can safely grow, and keep showing up even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when it's boring. Now, if nothing else stuck today, at least now you all know how to properly steep your tea without fear of judgment from me. So again, thank you so much for having me. I do want to thank Champ for doing this work in the city I grew up in. I moved out around the time this was happening, but there's so many great people and great things that this city has given me, and I'm happy to see a lot of these names of people that are being honored that have had such an impact on my life. So thank you so much. Let's keep building together.
Thank you, sir. Good job. We heard about stones or rocks tossed that make ripples on the water, and then we heard about forgotten faces and names of people who had a significant impact on character development or memories of what shaped The other day, real recently, about something with my dad and my memory. Switch to this mode. And I don't think this happened every game, but he was a fishery pathologist, had to wear the brown U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service uniform. And my memory is that every ball game I played anywhere in the state of Colorado, I played shortstop a lot, and I had this view toward the bleachers in a perfect angle, and it always felt like right before the first pitch, and we were on defense, I could look down, do the last little bit of dirt work, look up, and that brown uniform was sitting there. It probably didn't happen every time, but what I remember is that's what happened. Bless him and everybody else, I learned how to put an entire bag of sunflower seeds in my mouth at one time because our defense would be out on the field so long that I needed all that, and they would sit through painfully in their brown uniforms watching us get pummeled on defense. It's those little things that maybe weren't every single time or weren't quite as impactful as maybe you remember them now, but the comment about don't remember the names or the faces, except I remember what it did inside of me. We heard about character construction. I-25 has feelings too. I think we all need to remember that in our pursuit of character modeling. But yes, construction's always happening. I made that comment at the start of the festivities this morning about nobody here really thinks they have the corner on the market. Nobody owns character. But if we're all contributing toward something as an outcome, then we're probably doing something toward the good. We heard about animal excrement. We heard about tea and plants. So whatever you take away from that, do remember that we have some new people in the room today who've never been to one of these breakfasts before. We have some people who've been to maybe every single one of them. And next year, we'll have new people who've never been here before. We'll have young students who will be receiving character awards at this breakfast a year from now who have no idea this entity exists. And so that's the shameless moment to say, if you're able, with the giving materials on your table, QR code or otherwise there, if you're able to support, fantastic. If not, thank you for being here and for furthering the cause. It's done in different ways than monetary outreach from everybody in the room. If we could, we had the students who are here today, the coaches, current, past, and we have all these contributors who've made this happen today. Stephanie and Corinne doing another fantastic job with the breakfast. If we could please give one more round of applause to all of those people. As you head into your day and whatever is in front of you, I know a lot of you have a specific task in mind that you have to go attack, or you've got a voicemail you don't want to deal with, or an email that's got to be answered. Please remember that a year from now we'll gather again, and what will we have done in the 365 days from now until then. We do re-invite you. If you make your way down the back here, you're welcome to go out to the football field. Don't take any food or drink out there, please. Football field is open, and you're able to go out there, take pictures, do whatever you might want to do, and then you can come back up through this way. Check those giving materials if you haven't yet. And again, we thank you all for your attendance this morning. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for supporting CHAMP.